We're celebrating 1 year of AEW. Of course we're live, man. Celebrating 1 year of AEW, and they are celebrating it big. Every title in the company on the line tonight as Dynamite celebrates its 1 year anniversary. Jon Moxley defends the AEW title against Lance Archer. Hikaru Shida defends the AEW Women's Championship against Big Swole. FTR defends the AEW Tag Team titles against the Best Friends. Sound like I could be doing a promo for them. And in the match of the night, in my honest opinion, of course, Cody Rhodes defends the TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy. We're gonna go over it all, plus a whole load of your AEW weekly news and rumors on the only podcast that matters 1 year later. This is your AEW Dynamite post show right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us live right here on the AEW Dynamite post show for October 14th, 2020. This is Off the Script. Jesse, what is going on, man? Remember when I said all those several months ago, man, I know you remember me saying it because I said it often. I said it often to the detractors of AEW. Give them 1 year. And when we come to this date in 2020, which we had tonight, AEW is going to be a vastly different promotion than when we seen them in October, November, December, in the early portions of 2020. So what do you think of all that AEW has done leading up to tonight, which I thought was a very good show. It flowed very well. How are we looking at AEW now, 1 year later?
Was it a lot? I want to say it was a lot. I guess it was a lot. Because the thing is, it don't have to be a lot of different things to be a lot of important stuff. I mean, you can name like 2 or 3 or 4, changes that happened, but I named one big change. The company was started, led by Chris Jericho. And now we're led by Jon Moxley. And I remember people saying, you got a Hall of Famer leading the company. You have nothing, you don't even know what you're doing. They do exactly what they're doing. Jericho got him off the ground, and Jericho's moved all around the company and got every division over he's been in. So his plan has worked. Everything is working out. It's coming up AEW, man. They can't complain.
I think everybody that ever mentioned about Jericho being the world champion and him being 50 years old and him being the first AEW world champion. Still to this day, people talk about it when they look at Jericho. And a lot of people are now looking at him as far as his in-ring aspect and how he doesn't go like he used to. I still laugh at those people that everybody made fun of him for being the first AEW World Champion. That was the smartest decision now, still, that they've ever made, and it paid off royally because not only did he get the company to where they need to be, not only did he make that championship the most prestigious title in all of pro wrestling right now, but he actually aided not only in all that, but after the fact, he's aided in getting over several of the young stars there, wanting to work with them personally, whether it's Jungle Boy, whether it's Darby Allin, whether it's Private Party, so on and so forth. Orange Cassidy. Jericho's value right now, as far as being the leader of AEW, 1 year removed from when we seen this company start, has been absolutely priceless.
I can't think of one. Wait, I can. I can think of one. When he just did, Luther. I think I even texted you when he said, this is going to be the one time he's going to make an attempt to get someone over and it's not going to work. I think that was just out of his own personal bias.
It didn't work. It didn't work for us either. Believe me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he tried, man. But that was that. Look, that's your buddy, and you want to try. I get it. But other than that, everything else that Jericho has touched has gotten completely over. He got Orange Cassidy completely over single-handedly.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into everything that we need to discuss tonight, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I kind of do. One bold prediction from you as we now go into a first full year of AEW. By the time we look at this 1 year anniversary and we start celebrating the 2 year anniversary, who do you think AEW is going to bring on in that's going to be the next in line to lead the company even further, whether it's male or female? One big signing that AEW is going to have in this second year.
1 year from now?
Yeah, when we're looking back at October 2021.
I don't know current contract status of a couple of these people, but right now I would love to see a year from now leading the women's division. Outside of I don't know if you heard, but Eva Lise, we have full time now in AEW.
We're gonna go over it. It's in the news.
But I want to see Jordan Grace at the top of the company.
There you go. That's a good prediction, man.
A year from now. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that myself, and it's kind of leaning that way too. If you really pay attention to Impact, I'm a big Jordan Grace advocate. I've interviewed her. Very fortunately, I was humbled to interview her and honored to interview her when I was doing the Cutting Quarters thing with House of Glory. She's going for the X Division Championship right now, and normally that means it's kind of someone coming to the end of the road. Tessa did the Impact Championship thing, and then she was all of a sudden gone. And now Jordan Grace is doing the X Division thing. I mean, how much more can someone like that accomplish in a company where there really isn't anything more to accomplish outside of what she's done?
Support her big time. While all these rumors pop up about Tessa and how WWE wants her, I say let them focus on Tessa. I think they need to start courting Jordan Grace immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. Just start rubbing those shoulders, man. Talk to the execs over there and just make this a smooth transition. She needs to be on AEW television.
I agree. They let Deonna Purrazzo go and slip through their fingertips. I don't know if there's any negotiation there when that happened, but they were foolish for doing that. Maybe Thunder Rosa by this time next year will be full-time with AEW. I don't know what the status of NWA is, but everybody's talking about the women's division. We got news on the women's division in AEW. Britt Baker spoke up about the criticism of the AEW women's division this week, so we're going to go over that. So it's going to be a topic of discussion. But, man, oh, man, if you want to build a division without Tessa, Jordan Grace is definitely a notable name for that. So I definitely agree with you there. That's a good pick there.
I think I got one more pretty good prediction. This time, a year from now, I think we're looking at a legit, full-fledged, on-air relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling by now, too.
Well, Cody, speaking of that, Cody actually laughs when people say, hey, man, you're gonna partner up with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He laughed at it in a recent interview this week. He said, well, we already are. You got Jon Moxley, you got Omega, you got the Bucks. Miro apparently has a contract now with AEW that allows him to work non-televised dates for New Japan as long as it's not in the United States. He could go over there and do whatever he wants. And a couple of others that I can't name right now, but he's like, we do have a working relationship with New Japan. It's just not what you want it to be. But I do get where you're coming from. I get where he's coming from too. He's just throwing it back in the fans.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We got all of these rumors of contracts of talent that we hear with the ability to go over there, but nobody's done it yet. So I know why they haven't done it. I mean, obviously, we know why it hasn't been done. But what I'm saying is when everything opens up a little bit more and travel is a little bit easier to do, when we do start seeing talent over there, it's just not going to be random, okay, here's your Miro pop-up. It's going to be pop-up with storylines behind it. Yeah. We're going to get pop-up with teasers in the windows. We're going to see promo packages coming from New Japan on AEW TV. It's going to be a good back and forth a year from now.
Yeah, I know, and like, we discussed this last week. Forget about it. If AEW and New Japan have a working relationship where they do allow each other's contracted employees to be on television, whether New Japan is in the United States or AEW is in the United States here, obviously a New Japan talent comes over here. The likes of a Tanahashi or a Jay White coming over here to do things. I think that's going to be a Okada. Is the crown jewel. Can you imagine that? Like you said, WWE would be royally fucked, and I would love that day. I would love for that day to come.
They would be. They would be screwed. WWE is as big as they are as far as big mogul wise in the company because it's not normal for other promotions to mingle like that. So when you're the single biggest, nobody can touch you. But when you get large ones and large ones and large ones coming together, they're bigger than you.
Yeah.
All right, so the money is there. The talent is WWE has the best talent on the planet. They don't have the best talent when you combine AEW and New Japan.
I know. I'm not. Yes, I agree with you, and I'm even looking at it as far as like a kind of merging of the superpowers type deal. You got number one, which everybody knows is WWE, but when you get number two and number three in the entire world in this industry working together to try and take out number one, that's a very formidable foe.
Yeah. Think about it, man. What if you put all three champions in a triple threat match on somebody else's pay-per-view? I might pick it up. I might go up and buy a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view to see what Moxley does over there one night. Who knows?
Listen, it worked with me. I'm not an avid watcher of New Japan, but when it's important enough and big enough, I will go and buy it. I did it with Wrestle Kingdom when Jericho wrestled Omega. I bought that pay-per-view and I loved that fucking match. I thought that was great.
And for what I hear from the little rumblings I hear over there in New Japan is the new owner. Well, I heard that the last owner got a lot of heat for letting a lot of the American stars go. And now that the new owner is coming in, he wants to make everyone happy and everything else. I think his first initiative is going to be to reform that bond with everybody they lost over to AEW.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's definitely something that's going to be a major talking point. A lot of people are going to have it under the microscope in 2021. So WWE, it's like me talking to a fucking wall. They better get their act together, which I know they won't, because sooner rather than later, there's going to be Godzilla coming out of the fucking Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, whatever the fuck ocean's over there. I suck at geography, but you know what I'm saying. Godzilla's going to be coming in, and they're going to be swallowing up WWE. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Some of those matchups I'm already creaming over, man. Think about Jay White versus Jon Moxley, man.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. It really is crazy. That's definitely one of the things to keep an eye out for in 2021 as we enter this second year of AEW on TNT. But I want to welcome you guys to the podcast on YouTube. We are live. We're here every single Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. We got 900 people in the chat right now. We got 283 likes right now in the chat. I know there are a couple of geeks in here that didn't hit that thumbs up, so make sure you guys do that. It helps out the video. Super chats are open, so get them on in. Jesse and I will be hanging out at the end of the show. You can ask us anything at all, whether it's WWE, AEW related, or even if you want to throw it right back at me for the Braves losing 15-1 tonight to the Dodgers. And just like I expected, they're going to lose the series in 6, because winning the first 2 was just too good to be true. But we'll move away from that because I don't want to give myself a fucking ulcer again like I did tonight in the first inning. But we're going to go over everything tonight on AEW. We got a lot of AEW news we're going to run through. But quickly, guys, follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. If you guys want to follow Jesse on Twitter as well, his Twitter handle is right on the screen in front of you. You can follow both of us on social media, so please do that. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We just hit 119,000 subscribers with the Monday Night Raw review. Probably the best Raw review I've done all year. I was very visceral in my attack on everything WWE coming out of the draft because it was an absolute waste of time, and they insulted everybody's stupidity. So thank you guys for all of that. We are now on our way to 120,000 subscribers. So thank you for being a part of the podcast and the channel. If you guys want to support the show, you can definitely do that as well. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. You guys can go and get your masks. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go get your new black off-the-script masks. They are in stock right now. Go and get a t-shirt. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of the new JD is NEGAN 2020 design and all the official off-the-script merchandise. That's bonfire.com. Link is down in the description of this very video. If you missed any of the videos that I've uploaded this week and this past weekend, go and check them out. Links will be down in the description of the podcast tonight on this very video. And today's show is sponsored by Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys can go and get your 30 days free and one free audio book of your choice. They are adding new books every single month. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. You guys can get something for free just for signing up. It helps me out. It helps them out. It helps everybody out. audibletrial.com/offthescript. And I want to thank you guys for showing all the love you do to all of my sponsors right here on OTS. Let's hit the news first. I got a lot going on here in AEW. Jesse just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. Might as well start off with that. Ivelisse confirmed she is signed with AEW. Ivelisse worked her first match in AEW back earlier this summer in July, where she dropped a loss to Diamante. She would then team up with Diamante in the first Women's Tag Team Cup, which saw the duo win the tournament with a finals victory over Brandy Rhodes and Allie. Since that time, she's beat Kylan King on Dark, while also losing to NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa, who we have not seen on Dynamite in a couple of weeks. Her last appearance on AEW television came on the September 23rd episode of Dynamite, where she teamed up with Diamante, did Ivelisse, to beat Rosa and AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida. Outside of AEW, she holds the Shine Women's Championship. She was a previous employee of Lucha Underground. She was a trios champion in Lucha Underground and actually worked in Impact Wrestling. Ivelisse even worked with WWE, if you guys did not know, after appearing on the 2011 version of Tough Enough. She was with WWE for 2 years in developmental before they let her go, citing backstage behavioral issues. Jesse, this is a very good pickup. If Ivelisse can keep her head on straight and she can calm the tensions with a lot of the women that she has, she can be a major player, not only in AEW, but in women's wrestling, period. She doesn't have many places to go. Seemingly, she makes enemies everywhere she goes. This may be her last chance. What do you think of this signing?
Ivelisse is the pain backstage, huh?
Yep.
Let me tell you what I did because I'm bored and I have no life. So
we all have no life, man. We got a bunch of fucking people in this chat watching two clowns talk about pro wrestling.
I have no fucking life, man. But so you remember the whole controversy with Ivelisse and Thunder Rosa about Ivelisse no selling Thunder Rosa's
Yes,
moves?
sir. I actually went back and watched that match because you told me to, and I seen exactly what you were talking about.
Well, I went back and did even more research. So you went back and you saw what I was talking about, how Thunder Rosa is just, she does not like taking offense, dude. She does not. And the second you start giving offense, and you'll be lucky if she sells one or two strikes and then right away she's trying to reverse. Go back and look at it if you know how an orchestrated match is supposed to flow. If you're just sitting there watching wrestling and don't know what you're actually wrestling or watching, then you're not gonna pick up on it. But I went back and watched even more Thunder Rosa matches, and it was sparked. I was sparked to do it because my wife mentioned to me that someone was getting a call up to the NXT, the PC or something like that, and it was someone's daughter. I forget who it was. Maybe she'll put it in the chat because she's watching. But it was somebody like Barry Gordy's daughter or something like that. But I went back and watched the match with her and Thunder Rosa. Same thing. She does not like taking offense. I went back and watched another match. Same thing. It is very, very, very hard to get an offensive streak in with Thunder Rosa. She does not like taking offense or doing a lot of bumps.
So what you're explaining to me is we have two women who do not like taking any type of offense whatsoever. They want 100% of their matches to be totally them.
Well, I went back and looked at some Evil East matches just to do the survey, and it's not the same case with Evil East. She bumps, she takes offense, she'll stay on defense for a while, she'll sit there and feed your comeback, she'll sell your comeback. These are all things that Thunder Rosa didn't do. This is not my opinion, man. The facts are sitting right there on YouTube.
Well, I don't really know what to think about that. When they get to this type of stage, listen, when they get to this type of stage, they can't be pulling that indie shit. That might work on the fucking indies. That might work in some rinky-dink promotion, but you can't do that coming on national television on TNT. Everybody's got to be a fucking professional. Yeah.
Now, Evil East was wrong for when she got frustrated and started no-selling. When everybody saw like the gif of her just no-selling that roll out of the corner. But and that's where she dropped the ball. She could have sold that a little bit better, even though she was frustrated in the match. But after watching that whole match back, I see why she got frustrated, man. Now, I don't know why she got her heat with the people in the back, if they're for other reasons or whatnot. But if it's just she doesn't sell in general, I consider that bullshit because it's Thunder Rosa that doesn't sell.
This is news to me. I haven't really done that deep of investigative work, but both women have to be better. Both women have to be better. Listen, the only one that I will ever watch in my entire lifetime until I'm in the fucking grave, no sell anything, is The Undertaker. And that's back in the 90s. And that's it. I never want to watch a pro wrestler not sell for another pro wrestler that they're working with.
There she is. She says Terry Gordy's daughter, Miranda Gordy, got called up to NXT. And I checked her out. I went to look at some footage of her because I knew nothing about her. And
is this recently? I'm not familiar with her.
Miranda Gordy, yeah, she's out there.
Okay.
But I looked her up. She's not very good, man. She's not very good because I checked her out to see if she was gonna be like on NXT TV anytime soon. Yeah. She will not. Unless she's gonna show up as talent enhancement, then she's just in the PC still training right now.
Okay. Well, that's news to me. Like I said, both women have to be a little bit more professional. Thunder Rosa is somebody that has the eye of a lot of fans, and they are looking at her as a possible leader of this division if she does come in full-time or semi-full-time, whatever her contract status is with whomever else she's working with. And Evil East, this may be the last opportunity for her, period, in this business. She doesn't want to be working the indies forever. I don't think she deserves that. She's a lot better than just working some rinky-dink fucking indie promotion. She deserves to be on this stage because she's put a lot of her life into this business for the 10, 11 years that she's done it. She's very good. So hopefully they can get their act together and we can start seeing some camaraderie in the women's division, because if not, I don't know why Tony Khan would ever really push her and use her in a prominent way on AEW television.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know the depth or the seriousness of her backstage heat. I don't know, but I don't believe it's just because she no-sells, because just from what I've gone back and seen, that's just not true. That doesn't mean she doesn't have heat. It could be all kinds of different reasons why you got heat backstage. But I don't think it's because of her in-ring work, because she can work in the ring.
Yeah, so Evil East is with AEW officially, and hopefully we start to see a lot better from her as the weeks go on. Right now, she doesn't have a real role on television, but sooner rather than later, she will be back on our televisions on Wednesday night. Speaking of the women's division, Britt Baker actually commented on fan criticism of AEW's women's division. She was actually interviewed by Uproxx, the online website Uproxx, to discuss a wide range of topics, including the AEW women's division. Now, Baker understands that there are plans to grow the division, and fans need to watch the segments on Dynamite to support the growing women's division in AEW. She says this, and I quote, "We can't have the women's segments being the lowest rated or the lowest views on YouTube each week, because at the end of the day, it's a business and AEW needs ratings." That's the first thing she said. And then Baker stated that AEW is in a war with NXT, and she mentioned NXT by name, and she said the ratings need to be up. She says, and I quote, "It's no secret we are in a war every Wednesday with NXT, so we need the ratings up. So for the fans that are encouraging and saying we want more women, that's great. But please don't turn the channel when the women are on TV then. We want everybody to be watching the segments and cheering us from home," end quote. Then she goes on to bring up how COVID-19 is one of the reasons why the division isn't where the promotion wants it to be right now, because it got hit hard with the outbreak, whether it was for COVID or the travel restrictions, which we all know. She stated that half of the roster is international talent, and they don't have access to any of those women right now. She also cited Chris Statlander getting hurt and how there's only so much time that Dynamite has on a weekly 2-hour program. This is a follow-up to what Christopher Daniels said last week when we talked about it, and we did really go in-depth about it. He said that that is the reason why they're getting another additional hour of television, whether it's on a different night of the week, whether it is an additional hour added to Dynamite, which I hope it's not. They keep saying it's not, but I would not be surprised. But at the end of the day, Jesse, the statement that Britt Baker said is more of a cry for help than anything. I don't necessarily think that's Britt Baker's, stance on fan criticism. I just think it's almost a cry for help. It's almost as if she understands that right now it's not where it needs to be, and she's calling for everybody that is a fan of AEW to really come and support the women's division. Again, I'm going to double down on my stance. I don't think they deserve an extra segment on weekly television. I don't think we should really be, praising the women's division, because a lot of them really aren't that good. And I don't think they deserve the criticism. That's what Dark is for. That's why you are on Dark, to hone your ability and hone your skill. And that's used as a platform for you to get to Dynamite, and hopefully you excel there. But I don't necessarily understand the criticism of the wrestlers towards the fans about the women's division. It's just not good. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything she said, to be honest with you.
I don't disagree either. I just think it's just not good.
No, yeah, she admits it's not okay. If she wants to say that it's because of COVID, the division is not where they want to be right now, I could buy that, because the division started off just on the wrong foot. It just started off terribly, and she's pretty much acknowledging that. But the chances they had to fix it have been extra slim because of the COVID and restrictions and everything else. So I can see that. I can see it. And if for everybody, I see people talking about Dynamite going to 3 hours. I don't think anybody is talking about making Dynamite 3 hours. They're talking about adding a second show. Yeah. So no, not 3-hour Dynamites, people. We're talking about adding another show, maybe an hour-long show on a different night. But I can see that. I mean, do they need? Look, the women don't need another spot or two on TV just because they're women and we gotta put women on. The women will deserve extra spots on TV when they get the women's division where they want it to be. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not the NXT women's division. I mean, you look at the NXT women's division, I would absolutely give them 2 segments every night every Wednesday rather, on a 2-hour show, because they deserve it. And that's the best women's division in possibly the entire world. I mean, nobody's going to argue that. Look at the amount of talent that they have over there. It's the best women's division in all of the United States, bar none, even in their own company. So when you get it to that, then I would never sit here and say they don't deserve 2 matches, 3 matches, or an entire fucking show, to be quite honest with you. They just are not there. For whatever reason, they are not there. There's a mixture of reasons why they aren't where they are. can't blame COVID specifically. You can't blame the travel restrictions specifically. It's just not, and you can go back and watch the big Swole match with Shida. Half of the women there are not good. They're very green. They are lucky to be on television right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree. And even NXT in a fantastic division, man. Between injuries and main roster demotions, they're getting poked into. So it's just, I mean, women's wrestling was thriving 5-6 years ago, wasn't it? I mean, now we're trying to grasp at threads here, man.
Yeah. And you can blame WWE for that. It was thriving, and then WWE pulled, and they wanted, and they got greedy, and they liked who they liked. They didn't like who they didn't like, and they ruined a lot of those talents that had a lot of potential. I hope that doesn't happen here. I really don't.
Yeah, I guess I give them a little bit of credit because they started to show glimpses of some women being superstars, but then they just failed in creative and just botched it. And then we can say, okay, well, that was a star until you messed it up. What happened to Rhea Ripley? I thought she was a megastar.
I don't know. They yanked the chain on her as quick as you could say Charlotte Flair.
Done.
Everybody's talking about her being the next Becky Lynch. What happened?
Done.
Dead. She's creatively. I don't even want to talk about it because it fucking pisses me off still. Anyway, moving on. That's what Britt Baker said about what happened.
No, moving on. Yeah, I forget. I like I said, I could sit here and talk about that all fucking night long. What a terrible creative decision that was. But that's Britt Baker's stance on the women's division and the criticism of the fans. And let me know what you guys think after the fact. Do you agree with her? Do you think that they deserve another spot on the show? Sound off in the chat, sound off in the comments, and let Jesse and I know. Backstage news on AEW's plans at Daly's Place following the recent Florida ruling on sporting events. As we all know, Florida as a state went into phase 3. Everything is open. It's a fucking party. No masks. Everything is operating at full capacity. WWE is extending the Thunderdome right now till November at least. They'll probably be there in December as well. And I read today that WWE is actually possibly going to be touring in early 2021, starting the road to WrestleMania. I would not be surprised if that is the case, but a lot of people were wondering, well, if WWE is going to be doing that and they're devising plans for that, what is AEW going to do? Are they going to do the same thing? Are they going to travel up and down the state of Florida in different venues with fans following COVID procedures? Well, according to sources, Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer that as of right now, AEW has absolutely no plans to run any other venue but Daly's Place. The reason for that is due to the venue allowing fans to be kept apart from each other and far apart from the ring with large empty sections separating them. It's also outside, which always worked in AEW's favor. AEW has fans in the 200 and 300 sections of Daly's Place, with the lower bowl being empty. This lower section is also where AEW keeps talent apart from the fans and has older wrestlers such as Jake Roberts, Tully Blanchard, Greg Valentine, we seen last week watching the dog collar match with Mr. Brodie Lee and Cody Rhodes. If AEW wanted to do a up and down tour of Florida, they could definitely get fans to attend their shows with this new ruling, but there are no plans in place. And probably also, Jesse, which Meltzer did not mention here, Tony Khan owns the building, and I don't think it costs Tony Khan much of anything to, produce a show at Daly's Place. And then with everything already set up, all they have to do is end the night, show back up to work next week, and then you're good to go. So what do you think of what do you think of this decision as far as them staying at Daly's Place? Are you upset that they're not traveling, or are you just in the camp of, I'm just glad that they're putting on TV shows? I think it's brilliant. I think it's smart. If the state wants to open back up, let Vince hit the road and let's see how it goes. I think he's smart. Stay put and wait.
Yeah,
just
let WWE be the test dummies, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let them go around from city to city around Florida, and let's see if each city they hit become hot spots for let them be the guinea pigs. If it works out fantastic and great, good. they can always hit the road. There's nothing stopping them.
Yeah.
But like you said, production costs have got to be through the floor for him. I mean, he's got to pay to operate the building, workers and electricity. But other than that, he's holding a wrestling event in his backyard.
Yep.
It's free. So I mean, I agree. I would let it ride, let it wait. Let's see how WWE does. If they fare well, and if they don't get too much heat from it, and they don't fall in their faces, you can always hit the road. But if they do, you can just sit back and say, "We stayed here. We didn't go anywhere."
Yeah, I like that idea too. I think staying in Daly's place. I mean, to me, visually, Daly's place is fine. But I'm not sure if I'm the only one that thinks this, watching Dynamite on a weekly basis at Daly's place and then seeing the pay-per-views actually take place there as well. The same thing that I feel when I watch a TakeOver show and I watch NXT on a weekly basis and then I see the TakeOver show happening in the same building as the weekly TV shows. It almost feels like the pay-per-views and then the takeovers as well for WWE, they lost their appeal this year beyond their control, obviously with the COVID circumstances. I do feel like working out of the same venue for everything that they do kind of has a negative effect on the pay-per-views. Do you feel that way or you don't feel that way at all?
Nah, I don't really I'm starting to get a little bit desensitized to all of this, because it's been that way for the majority of the year, man. I mean, it is what it is. WWE is in the PC or the Thunderdome or Boom, wherever the fuck they are.
The fucking Capitol Wrestling Center that they call it now.
Yeah, and AEW is in Daly's place. It just is what it is. The NBA's in the bubble. The NFL are just on fields empty. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I mean, it's not like this just started. I'm trying to just enjoy what we have. At least we have new live content.
Yeah.
I understand it can't be what I want. I want 100,000, seated arena, for every, I can't have what I want right now, but I'm getting live content and there are crowds coming back and I am getting a little deep. I remember when the first time we saw the empty arena match, the hard cameras in the weird spot, not a single soul, not a single sound. It was god awful. Mm-hmm. Now it is a little bit easier to palate at this point. You got to admit,
Well, yeah, when you got people singing Jericho's theme song, I mean, it's always a pleasant sight. It's like, oh shit, some normality is here. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting it to the point when we get back to full arenas, man. We gotta go happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
Remember the days of complaining that crowds were bored and dead and not making any noise and we hated it?
I'll tell you what, man. If you're one of these fucking geeks that goes to these shows and they have full capacity at these venues and you are sitting on your hands not making a fucking sound, man, I'm blasting all of you on this fucking show that same night. You better go there and you blow your lungs out.
Yeah,
fucking dumbass.
Yeah, I know. They should, but I'm getting used to it, man. So am I missing it? Nah. I mean, I would, love to see it. I get it. I watch football on every Sunday, man. So when I see, 20,000 people in the football stadium, I think that's Tony Khan's end goal. I think so. As they open Florida back up and WWE starts to travel and he can see how crowds are, I think Tony Khan's end goal is to play a big pay-per-view event for his football field.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. He'd be foolish not to.
Yep, I would.
Absolutely. Shit, if that's the case, and Florida was that way still, and they allowed people for a double or nothing, to that capacity, shit, I'd fly down.
Yeah, looking like the spring too.
Yeah.
Football season to be over. For Jacksonville, like that season to be over a lot sooner than other teams. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, the spring gets there, the weather gets a little bit out of that winter weather, and yeah, I think AEW is gonna fill a football stadium, man. Yeah,
it's gonna be very interesting. But Tony Khan has, I'm sure Tony Khan has a plan in place, and like we said, I think WWE being the guinea pigs for this is probably the right way to go, and I'm sure he's also thinking that same way as well. One little note here before we hit the actual review. Jericho was on the show in a segment tonight with MJF, which was fucking great. But Jericho last week celebrated his own anniversary, his 30-year anniversary, which was the entire theme of the Dynamite show last week. And it was reported by Meltzer that Jericho produced a lot of last week's show on AEW Dynamite. That is why it felt so personal for Jericho, And he said this on the Observer Live, and I quote, Jericho produced a lot of last week's show. I liked that. It felt like a strong show. It felt like a special show. I like this week's show better than last week, but that's just me. But Jericho was a total babyface on that show, which he probably should have been just because of the nature of what it was and everything. But he's going to go back to being a heel with the Inner Circle and everything like that this coming week, which he did, and we will talk about that. But I just wanted to throw that in there, that little nugget of information there. So if you guys did not understand what happened last week with AEW Dynamite, it was Jericho's call. The entire show was Jericho's call, and that's why we got the main event that we did with Luther and Serpentico to end Dynamite. Hoot Media. I know you're in the chat. I know Hoot Media, my analyst, had internet issues tonight. Hoot Media, are we number one in the IWC? We got over 1,000 in the chat tonight for AEW Dynamite on the post show here on Off the Script. 454 likes. Let's try and get that closer to 700 in the chat. I would really appreciate that. Super chats are open. I got to remind you guys, super chats are open. So if you want to send them on in, Jesse and I will be hanging out at the end of the show. So I'm waiting on Hoot Media. Hoot Media knows to look at the stats. I'm pretty sure Hoot Media has all that information in front of the computer screen right now. Hooligram says number one. Hi, JD. Hoot Media says, you're number one, man, but you need more likes. There you go. Listen to Hoot Media. If you don't listen to Hoot Media, then you're an asshole. Moving on. We got Dynamite opening up, Jesse, with the AEW Tag Team Championship match between FTR and the Best Friends. The commentary team went over how dominating the Best Friends have been. And I love that the commentary team kind of sells the fact of the wins and losses meaning something and the wins and losses being important. The Best Friends have a very good record at the end of the fiscal year. And I love the way that commentary sells that because it makes them feel like a bigger deal when a lot of people might not look at the Best Friends as being a big deal. FTR, as we've said week in and week out, all the best tag team in the entire world. Fuck WWE for fucking them up. Now they're showing WWE what they're missing out on, but FTR is probably laughing at the side of the WWE tag team divisions right now after the draft and how they just gifted championships on Monday Night Raw. So that is everything that FTR did not want to have to deal with. But this match, Jesse, what'd you think of this match? Very good match between these two teams. But the ending, which we're going to get into, man, fucking ridiculous. That ending was just all over the place. It was overbooked. It was overproduced. Not necessary in a tag team match like this between two caliber teams like this. What'd you think of the match between FTR and the Best Friends?
I liked it. I didn't even... I don't know. I didn't mind the shenanigans that much. The only thing that really killed it for me was Rick Knox at the end. I mean, that guy, dude. I mean, he's worse than Hebner ever was.
Oh, man.
He's just the worst. I didn't see that ref I've ever seen, man. But outside of that, I mean, I like the overall story it told. It's like we're gonna go out there and we're gonna out wrestle these guys, and then they couldn't do it. And then they go, all right, we're going to out-strategize these guys. And then they couldn't do that. So they said, okay, we're just going to fucking cheat because we can't beat these assholes. And then that's how they got the win. So I kind of like the overall story. And the match was all right. The match was good. But the ending was like, it was all right. The ref just going to lay down because he knew the interference was coming. Just looks so stupid, dude.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. The match itself was fine up until at least the last minute or so. But this one was back and forth early. We got a hot tag to Chuck. Chuck hit a tope con hero over the top rope. He followed with a Falcon Arrow on Dax for a near fall. Tully was on the outside. He interfered from the floor, sweeping Chuck's leg on a suplex attempt back into the ring. Chuck made his own comeback. He tagged out to Trent. Trent and then Chuck actually hit their soul food half and half combo for a 2 count. Trent hit a one-legged drop kick to Cash for 2. Cash then cut Trent off with a lariat. The match broke down. All 4 guys in the ring towards the end. Chuck and Trent hit strong 0 on Dax for a great near fall. I knew the FTR guys were not going to lose this match, but they really made it a believable near fall. Cash barely made the save on that strong zero pinfall attempt. Trent and Cash brawled outside. Cash dodged a spear, and Trent ran into Kip Sabian's arcade game. Now, let me give you guys a little backstory on this. When the show began, and we got the introductions to Dynamite, and they were panning the cameras over the fans and the wrestlers at ringside, we seen Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford playing an arcade machine, an old school arcade machine. Now, this obviously plays into Kip being a Twitch streamer, gaming on Twitch, Miro being the best man, and him being a big Twitch personality as well. So obviously they're there playing video games. They were mashing buttons in the beginning of the show, and they looked to be having a good time. So this thing was there, and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford were sitting at ringside with this arcade machine out there. So the arcade machine, nonetheless, got destroyed. So Cash dodged a spear, and Trent absolutely demolished this thing, and it was destroyed. Sabian was mad. He sent Penelope Ford to the back to go get Miro, who came out at the end. This did not factor into the finish, by the way. This was just a little sub-story happening off to the side. Trent to the swinging DDT, tagged out. Chuck ducked a belt shot from Dax. So let me go over this, because this ending was ridiculous to me. I don't get why we get these overbooked fucking endings in these tag team matches. So Taylor eventually tagged in, went after Dax. Cash tried to hit Chuck with the tag belt, and Rick Knox all of a sudden just hits the floor like a fucking grenade was going off. But before he did that, and before he went down on his knees to go duck away from the belt shot, he knew that there was cheating about to go on. He's seen the belt. Then he ducks. Then he wakes up. He gets back up. He sees somebody down. Clearly the bad guys had the belt. Clearly he knows that the belt was used in this outcome of the match. And he counted the 3 anyway. So he went down for absolutely no reason. He went down. He made himself look like a fucking dummy. And then he counted the 1, 2, 3 because that led to the finish of the match. Jesse, I think Rick Knox is the dumbest referee in all of it. He may be the best, but he's also the dumbest.
Yeah, I've always said that too. I like the rapport that the AEW referees have with the fans and everything else. I wish they would use that. So if Rick Knox is gonna be the blind idiot, that's fine. I mean, I guess he's par for the course for referees, but I think they should make Aubrey just like nothing gets by her. I mean, just write it into each fucking match. If she's reffing the match and you try to pull some shit, make her be like the fans ref, or like, you idiot, I saw that, you're out of here. I mean, something, and then just save the shenanigans for the other refs. It gives them more character and everything like that. But that's just nitpicking it. But yeah, Rick Knox, dude, is God. It's like maybe he's missing cues or something. But you just can't just lay down and then wake up and then say, "Oh, look at that, there's a pin." I mean, what the fuck happened?
I don't know what happened here, man. I don't know if it was just sloppiness. I'm not sure if that was the ending that they had in mind. I even had the thought cross my mind that maybe Rick Knox is a crooked referee. If none of those things are what they are supposed to be, I don't know what the fuck they were going for here.
Something, you know. I mean, it has to be something, because it just makes the whole business look bad. Just tag him as like the inept, just bad at his job ref. Fine, but pulling shit like that, you know, with no explanation, just looks like just a serious botch.
Well, that was the ending of that match. We got FTR winning the match and retaining the AEW Tag Team title. 17 minutes for that tag team match. Very good up until the ending. It was just a little silly with Rick Knox and the whole using the belt as the illegal weapon for the finish of the match. After the match, Miro came out. He attacked Chuck Taylor and Trent, getting back at Trent for ruining Sabian's arcade machine. And yes, it was not plugged into anything. I've never played on a arcade machine that wasn't plugged into an outlet, but here we are. That's that. Just want to throw that out there as well. Excalibur said Miro and Sabian were scheduled to wrestle next, and then Miro cleared the ring. He was mad, and then they fed Miro and Sabian Sean Maluta, former WWE Cruiserweight Classic competitor, and my boy Lee Johnson. Miro and Sabian feasted in 2 minutes, and then Miro yelled out his primal yell, and he put the Game over. Finishing move, the camel clutch on Johnson, and that was it. That's pretty much it. Sabian yelled afterwards, "You've gone too far. You destroyed my most prized possession. How dare you?" I thought Penelope Ford was his most prized possession. Is he fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's a video game, bro. At least you saved the fucking joysticks, clown.
Yeah, he got his board. I mean, seriously. He lost the screen.
Don't worry, Ford. Listen, Penelope could play with your joystick at the end of the night. What the fuck you crying about? Make everybody in the community a salty fuck. Go ahead, these fucking geeks. So he comes in, Miro. He yells game over. And clearly now, Sabian and Miro are targeting the best friends. So that's that. Miro looked good. This was much better than fucking Jelly Janela and Sunny Kiss the couple of weeks ago. That's for sure. That's the way that match should have been. This one.
Yeah, Janela. Yeah, man, I don't know. Funny story though. Sunny Kiss had a match on Dark,
and
he wasn't that bad in the ring.
I don't know. I might have to go back and investigate.
Look, man, I don't think anybody's ever questioned his in-ring ability. The guy can go. I mean, it's just his gimmick and how and where they portray it. It's just not clicking. That's all. But the guy can go.
Yeah.
No. But I like what AEW is doing with the talent enhancement. I mean, a guy like Lee Johnson, that guy is looking better and better every week. I watched Dark, and again, who was it? Damn it. Who's the girl on Dark yesterday? She's with Brandy now. I mean, that's her new gimmick.
I have no idea.
And you do. I text you about it. I forgot her damn name.
Red Velvet?
Yeah, Red Velvet. Again, I watched too much wrestling, dude. But Red Velvet had her own jobber match.
Really?
You know, just a couple of weeks ago, she was the talent enhancement. You know, on Dark. Now she had someone working for her. I mean, now she was put over, and she's gonna be working with Brandy. So she's on the way up, man.
Pretty interesting. That's good for her. Happy for her. That's gonna be a big deal. Moving on here, man. We got the announcement of the Full Gear tournament. This world title eliminator tournament with the finals taking place in Full Gear. We got all the brackets. We got all the competitors. And AEW listed it as such. Pentagon in the opening round will go one-on-one with Rey Fenix. Take my fucking money. That should be a barn burner. We got Kenny Omega versus Janela. And I got to give Janela credit. His match with Omega last year on one random episode of Dynamite was really fucking good. So hopefully they could do the same thing. Colt Cabana versus Adam Hangman Page on the other side of the bracket. So we got Page and Omega on separate sides. So let's get the discussion in everybody's Twitter feeds about it being predictable and it being Omega versus Page at Full Gear. And then we got Wardlow versus Jungle Boy, which plays into that story there with the Jurassic Express and Wardlow and MJF, etc., etc. Now, if we were to predict this thing, Jesse, might as well have some fun with this now. Pentagon versus Rey Fenix. Who do you take? I'm going with Pentagon. I think a Pentagon versus Omega match looks very, very enticing in the semifinals.
It is, but I know Phoenix is their choice for a singles guy in that team, man. So I got Rey Phoenix for that one.
Either one, I don't mind. I don't think we've seen Omega versus Phoenix in AEW yet, have we?
I don't believe so, and I think Rey Phoenix is gotta be one of the most underrated guys. Now, I don't think that he's considered a chump. I know he gets praised. And that being said, he's still got to be one of the most underrated talents in AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, he's easily the best luchador in all of the world right now. Not even close.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Omega versus Janela, I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. Omega will definitely be in the semifinals. It's just going to be either against Phoenix or Pentagon. Colt Cabana versus Adam Hangman Page. I think everybody's going to go with Page. I think it's safe to say that Page is going to win. But do you see, Jesse, a likely scenario of something Dark Order related in this, whether it's for Colt Cabana or whether it's something to do with Paige, because if you remember all those months back, the Dark Order courted Adam Page to be in the Dark Order. Do you see anything like that happening here, or is this pretty self-explanatory?
I think this first match is I think it's gonna be indicative of what's gonna happen with Hangman. If Hangman is gonna lose in this tournament, or Kenny, I think it's gonna happen in round 1. If they're going to lose. If they're gonna win, I mean, then they're gonna go all the way, and obviously they'll meet in the finals. But I think if they're gonna lose, I think it'll be in round 1, and it'll be due to shenanigans and everything else. Again, Brodie Lee is absent tonight for some reason. Don't know. I think he might have something to do with taking Colt's spot in that tournament, and that could be the reason why Hangman loses, along with maybe some kind of
you did mention that last week. Yeah, I still like that. Colt Cabana in there seems a little bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, easily Brodie can show up and say, "Thank you, get out.
Yeah,
I'm taking this match." And if that happens, and then Hangman loses and gets frustrated and decides to go run in and cost Kenny his match, then maybe they can come together right that way. Or maybe I'm just thinking way outside the box, and Hangman just flies through, and so does Kenny, and it's the predictable ending they were all looking at. But I think if it's gonna go haywire, I think you get those guys out quick, and then leave everybody guessing for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. All right. Say it doesn't go Omega and Page, and one of them has to go. For example, if Omega wins and Adam Hangman Page doesn't advance due to some, nefarious actions or situations, who do you see in the finals opposite Omega, if not Page? I'm going to say, and this is going to be a wild out there one, I would say Omega versus Jungle Boy is a very interesting match.
Never happened.
He's not beating Wardlow.
What if Jungle Boy wins? So we're going to give what? Jungle Boy versus Moxley? Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know, man. I'm making discussion here, clown. Okay?
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, so if Brodie Lee wins versus Moxley, okay, we get a match. If anybody else in the tournament wins, we'll see. But Jungle Boy, no, he's getting out of there. Jungle Boy's got as much as chance of winning as Colt Cabana does, dude.
All right, there you go. That's the tournament. Pretty self-explanatory with most of the matches there, but it does certainly look like they're shaping up to have Omega and Page at Full Gear. I do like that Brodie Lee addition there, removing Colt Cabana, because fuck Colt Cabana. I mean, he's the exalted one. He can do whatever he wants. I think that throws a nice little wrinkle into everything. And what a coup it would be for Brodie Lee to lose the TNT title and then win this tournament and get a world championship match and then become the world champion and say, ha, Cody, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
it
would be, and I think that's the only thing. I say that's probably the only thing that would get Brodie his heat back after losing that title and that 50-50 booking scenario with Cody, is if they get plans to shoot him up the ladder. Yeah. So,
do you see Adam Page possibly joining the Dark Order?
Dark Order, no. 4 Horsemen, yeah.
Okay. Just gotta throw out all the variables there. Variables.
Dark Order, nah, his personality wouldn't fit there. I mean, you can't. I mean, what is he gonna do? Sit there and get slapped around by Brodie Lee?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I love tournaments. I think this is going to be really fun leading into Full Gear, and we will definitely be here to discuss it on Dynamite on Off the Script. Next, we got MJF and Wardlow. They walked out. Apparently, MJF had a big announcement, a monumental announcement. And he wanted Jericho to be out there to listen to what he had to say. Out came Jericho with all of the inner circle. The audience sang like a bunch of geeks. And then we got MJF and Chris Jericho in the ring on the microphone together. And when this happens, it is absolutely must-see TV. First things first, Sammy Guevara got his jacket. But unlike everybody else, where their jacket actually fit them and was properly tailored, we got Sammy Guevara wearing what looked to be Big John Studd's jacket. Jacket did not fit him. You could have fit 3 Sammy Guevaras in this fucking jacket. So that was that. MJF comes out, and clearly it was a quote-unquote mistake by Maxwell, but he's addressing Jericho, and he says, when I promise, I deliver. Sammy didn't want to put it on. Jericho pushed him to put it on because it was a gift. Sammy said no, he resisted, but he put it on anyway. And then MJF said, that's great. And then MJF touted Jericho's body, that he looks like a Greek god. He looks like Popeye the Sailor Man if he was one that injected spinach. He then said Jericho has luscious, bodacious hair. And MJF is the only one on TV in pro wrestling that could say bodacious. Michael Cole! Clown. Or now it's going to be fucking Tom Phillips because Matt Riddle's on Raw. The bodacious bro. Anyway. MJF says bodacious hair on Chris Jericho. He said the fans are prematurely balding. Most of the fans are prematurely balding. So you're probably jealous. He asked Jericho if he could touch his hair. Then Jericho says, you want to touch my hair? MJF says, yes, I do. So Jericho agreed, and MJF touched it. He says, it's smooth as a baby's bottom. Jericho told him to cut the shit, make the goddamn announcement. So MJF said he senses some hostility from Jericho. It doesn't have to be that way. MJF said they are both the top minute-to-minute draws on Dynamite, which I don't think is a, joke. I really do think that's a fact in this case. He called Jericho the demo god. That makes me the ratings ruler, baby, he says. Jericho noted it was a joke that landed crickets in the arena. MJF says they have never gotten physical in the squared circle. He mentioned, MJF mentioned Animal Planet. When Jericho's at home, scrolling through the TV, he's watching Animal Planet, and Jericho interrupted and says, I hate Animal Planet. And then Jericho was looking directly at MJF, and MJF called it random and very specific because it's not under the Turner umbrella. Okay, you don't like Animal Planet. For example, let's say you're watching animals. You never see turtles eating each other at the beach, or something about piranhas, I think he mentioned. You never see anything as far as piranhas on TV eating each other because they respect each other. We've been separate, but what if we work together? Jericho then asked him, what are you getting at, Maxwell? MJF says then, after a couple of hesitations, I would like to join the inner circle. And then Sammy didn't like the idea. Santana did not like the idea. Santana actually took the microphone and said they don't want him in the inner circle. End of story. Jericho said, whoa. Let's hear what he has to say. We all make decisions together here. So when it looked like they were about to make a proposition for a match with that on the line, if he beats Jericho, he joins the inner circle. Instead, they shook hands, and instead of a match, Jesse, we got a date at a steakhouse for them to discuss business, and they sold eating a steak better than anything WWE has done on TV all year to sell a fucking pay-per-view match. This was great.
Now, we were talking earlier about cross-promotions with New Japan. Is this a cross-promotion with Titus Catering?
This is not. This is
sure?
not. Yes. I think AEW... I think
sure about that?
yeah, I'm positive. I don't think AEW is working with Titus Catering whatsoever. In fact, Titus Catering is now drafted to Raw, so he's going to be strictly Monday Night Raw. I don't know who's running SmackDown, but Apollo Crews is over there now, so I guess he's going to take over on SmackDown like he was in the past. I don't know.
He has sous chefs, man. I know. Titus get it under control. Don't worry.
But Jericho loves his steak. Jericho loves his steak. I believe he's what type of steakhouse guy is he? Longhorn, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, but somebody just had like an hilarious chat in here. They said Jericho's gonna lose another title at a steakhouse again.
Well, what title is he gonna lose?
Yeah, no, but I get what he's saying. He already lost the title at Longhorn.
Well, what'd you think of this segment? Did you get any feeling from this about MJF using the inner circle here at all? Where do you think this is going with MJF and Chris Jericho? Is this exactly like we talked about it in the last couple of weeks? Is MJF using the inner circle because he knows the inner circle has the intel on what MJF really wants, and that's the AEW Championship and Jon Moxley? That's
what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out where they're going with this, man. Like, Jericho and MJF can't coexist in a circle at the same time. So the only thing I can take from it is Jericho's gonna take a little break, man. And while he's gone, if Jericho just leaves, the inner circle will just flat out just fall off. It would. I mean, but not with MJF there. It would not. So if Jericho's gonna take a little break, do some Fozzy stuff, go and do some stuff, personal projects or what have you. This is the best move. The absolute best move they could think of is put MJF right in Jericho's spot. You get the inner tension between him and Sammy and him and the rest of the group, and you got Wardlow and then the group still exists. And I think it's the only thing I can think of is that Jericho's going to take a break, and then he'll come back and get pissed off about what MJF did, and then there's your first feud when he gets back.
Yeah, well, I actually read that Jericho has tour dates planned. I think it's somewhere in the middle of 2021, towards the beginning of the summer next year. But I don't know when he would actually take a breather and just step away for a little bit. I don't know where this leads. This is very difficult to read, which I guess in a sense is good. I mean, what do these guys do at Full Gear? What are they going to do at Full Gear? Jericho has no match. MJF has no match. Is this leading to a one-on-one match between the two at Full Gear because they have nothing else better to do?
Could be. The winner leads Inner Circle. Loser leaves town or what have you. I didn't know Jericho was touring next year. If Jericho has plans to tour next summer, maybe he plans to go away and record, write, rehearse, practice with his band, get back on cue. Who knows?
Yeah, they do have an album coming out early next year, so that might be a possibility. But if that is the case, if MJF and Jericho do wrestle each other to lead the Inner Circle, will there be an Inner Circle left for MJF to lead? Because it looks like that Santana and Ortiz do not want any part of, and Sammy Guevara do not want any part of MJF. Or maybe maybe Sammy stays because he, is that type of guy, but maybe this is a way to break, quote unquote LAX away from the Inner Circle and have them get back to what we know they can do, and that's be one of the best tag teams in the world. This is it's very unpredictable. It really is.
I think you've been watching too much WWE. There's no need to break up anything here. All right? We're not breaking up any tag teams, not breaking up any factions. They can go do tag team division stuff when still being in the Inner Circle. It's quite all right.
All right, let me know what you guys think about this in the chat. Where do you think this is going to end up? But like I said, I love the fact that we don't know what's happening next, because I love when AEW just has you on the edge of your seat with their unpredictability, and this seems to be yet another storyline that I'm sure Jericho and MJF have all planned out, but we don't know and have any idea what's going on, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
All the moving parts. We got a tournament. Who's going to come out of it? What's going on with Inner Circle? We're talking about what's going on with Jericho and Sammy and Proud and Powerful and MJF, Wardlow. None of those guys have a fucking title, but they're important to the show.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Very good. Yep. We got someone else who's important to the show. Tony Schiavone. He's actually in a spa with Britt Baker, and they're laying side by side on massage tables. Baker was getting a facial. She had a cloth on her face, and Schiavone was getting a neck and shoulder rub. He had no shirt on, and he was covered in nothing but a towel. So Reba entered with Britt's rules written on a big sheet of paper. Britt sat up. She said rule number 5 is to be the baddest bitch on the block. She then noticed and looked over at Tony Schiavone, and she yelled that he was naked, and she yelled in horror like she's seen a murder being committed. And she started to yell again, and this led to them having a portion of the segment where Tony Schiavone got his chest waxed. If you guys remember the scene in the 40-Year-Old Virgin where they were all standing around watching him just absolutely be tortured with hot wax and the fucking wax paper being pulled off, and he looked like the man-o'-lantern in 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is exactly what they did to poor Tony Schiavone, man. First of all, he's getting fucking super kicked by the Young Bucks. He got his fucking phone broken, and now they're tearing his chest hair away. What the fuck are they doing to him? What are they doing to him? I don't get it. I don't really understand. So they waxed his chest, and we got Shivani shrieking. They sat side by side later for pedicures as Baker talked about her epic comeback next week, Jesse. She will be back in the ring, and this Britt Baker comeback tour will roll on. What do you think? You have no comment.
Jericho might go away for a little while and then come back faster than we think, and then MJF and Jericho can have their match.
Whoa, wait a minute. We're past that. We're talking about Britt Baker here.
My TV went out for that part. I didn't see any of it.
Oh, okay.
My TV froze.
This fucking guy over here is talking about Jericho and MJF. We left that segment about 5 minutes ago. I'm reading the fucking notes I have here based on Britt Baker's segment, and you're talking about something that happened 5 minutes ago.
This is you guys thought this woman was the future of the company, huh? She's getting
Listen, she's getting facials on TV. She's looking great.
She's the queen of the AEW Divas division. Okay. What's the next segment, man?
Listen, don't let me slip into fucking Bebe's DMs and fucking tell him that you're talking shit on his wife. Come on now.
God, man. Hey, guess what? They signed Evil East. That's actually good women's wrestling news.
Yeah. Moving on. Britt Baker. This is not important to the show. What is important to the show is the TNT Championship. We got Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy for the TNT title. This went to a time limit draw. This makes it the third match in AEW history that's went to a time limit draw. The first one being Cody and Darby. Second one being Moxley and Pac. And then we got I know. Okay. I'm prepared, okay?
Whatever.
Cody and Orange Cassidy is the third one. A lot of people, Jesse, were complaining about this match, and they were complaining about the ending of the match and how it ended up. Now, AEW has time limits. They make this very apparent in everything that they do. It's in the pre-match ritual for Justin Roberts. 20-minute time limit, TV time remaining, 60-minute time limit for championship matches. But I am one who loves time limits. I think it's an old-school method that can be used as an out in storylines, and it could further storylines, it could build drama, it could build intrigue, and that's exactly what it did here. I love that they have it in their back pocket to use. In one full year of AEW, we've only seen 3, so they're not abusing it. They're using it when they need to, and I love that. This went to a time limit draw. A lot of people complained about this ending. Why should people not complain about this, and why was this a good ending?
I think the fans have gotten too accustomed to seeing title matches in WWE that end in a fuck finish or a DQ. Yeah. And then they say, no, I'm not even kidding. And then they say, oh, well, now he's got a reason to get a rematch because he has screwed over. Well, we complain about that for 2 reasons. A, why'd you book the match and then have it end like that? And then the other reason is, why so many rematches? Now, it doesn't mean that what they're doing should never, ever, ever, ever be done. The problem is they do it too often and they don't do it in the right way. So what if they would have gave us, say they gave us this match and it would have been, say, a 40-minute match with a decisive winner. And it was an awesome match throughout the whole show. Nobody would have complained. But now they give us a 20-minute match, awesome match, went to a time limit that they told us exists, and they don't use it very often. Like you just said, they used it 3 times total within a year. Mm-hmm. And now that's actually a legitimate reason to get a rematch. And they're not even doing it next week. They're going to at least give us 2 weeks to give us a breather away from just seeing the same match.
Yep. While building, I don't want to cut you off, but while building Darby Allin as the next legitimate pay-per-view challenger for Cody Rhodes, who's to say that the next match doesn't go to a time limit and we get a triple threat at the fucking pay-per-view?
Right.
You know,
I mean,
story.
I think people seem to get our complaints about WWE mixed up a little. I mean, it's not always exactly what they do. It's just how often and how lazily they do it. Don't run to the well so often, and then be creative about it and make some kind of logical sense out of it instead of just insulting our intelligence by saying, well, the New Day is back. These two guys are back from injury, so clearly they're number one contenders for tag title. What?
Do you know what this does on the grander spectrum of everything? Number one, Cody Rhodes just went through a dog collar match to win the championship back, okay? Then he shows up in the next week, willingly putting the title on the line, and he goes 20 minutes with Orange Cassidy. Now, this does a variety of things. Number one, it makes Cody Rhodes look like a fucking savage because he went through that war with Brodie Lee, won the title, put the title on the line when he didn't have to. So what do you think that does to the championship, and what do you think that does to enhance Cody Rhodes on top of what we already think of Cody Rhodes? Number two, Orange Cassidy stepped up when a lot of people complain, oh, why is he getting a title match? What has he done? Yada, yada, yada. He went 20 minutes with the TNT champion on television, who just went through a war with Brodie Lee. That got Orange Cassidy over. And now that this went to a time limit draw, Orange Cassidy now, by the way, looks better than he did in the previous weeks that he's already looked good. Now we get a time limit draw. Now we take this storyline into the next 2 weeks. They let it breathe, like Jesse said. They let it marinate. And then we got Darby Allin watching from the fucking fans, watching from the venue in the seats. Now we get a possible fourth time limit draw here between Cody and Orange Cassidy. Because if either one of those guys loses, what is either one of those guys going to do without a pay-per-view match? Like, why would you keep Orange Cassidy, which right now is one of the hottest acts in the entire company, off the pay-per-view? Imagine they use another time limit draw and enhance everything I just mentioned again, and then they put Orange Cassidy at the pay-per-view with Cody and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much positive. I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about.
Again, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I can understand how people, it's usually the detractors that want to say stuff like, oh, see, you complain about WWE with this, but not with AEW. We don't complain. It's not like WWE does one thing once and we complain for years. It's more like WWE does the same thing for years and then we start complaining.
Listen, how many times did Angel Garza and Andrade lose and get a tag team title opportunity against the Street Profits? Now, don't even think about them not even being in a tag team division with legit tag teams. They were the only two tag teams in that division, but they used that's the best example for me to use. Or Randy Orton. You can use Randy Orton's situation. He lost how many matches and he's getting another championship match at the pay-per-view? Why? Just because.
I love Roman and everything he's doing right now. Why did he get a fucking title shot when he came back?
I don't know.
Why?
If WWE used the time limit draw, maybe I wouldn't be complaining about Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton.
Yeah, I mean, nothing makes sense. I mean, they get a title shot. Why? Braun Strowman has a title shot coming up. Why?
I don't know.
He didn't just get beat up by Dabba-Kato.
The guy walked into Raw Underground, beating up fucking NXT Performance Center talent. Now he wants a fucking title shot?
Yeah, he beat Yaba Dabba-Kato, now he gets a title shot.
Time limits work. This is WWE. They don't do what they need to do to build people up. The time limit, look at what the time limit's done in this one situation to build up not only Cody, not only Orange Cassidy, but the title and the story. You don't like it? Tough shit. It needs to be in all of pro wrestling.
Time limits work for good wrestling matches. Please don't give us a fucking Nia Jax versus Tamina 30-minute draw. All right? I mean, put good wrestlers in the ring.
Well, we got this match. Speaking of good wrestlers, two very good wrestlers. Orange Cassidy is very good at what he does. You might not be sold on the gimmick. You might be listening to Cornette, who calls him Pockets. Orange Cassidy is a very, very good pro wrestler when it boils down to it. This match was awesome. I loved it. Match of the night for me. Cody, before the match, teased on social media he was going to get Orange Cassidy to do the one thing that he's not done in AEW, and that is a collar and elbow tie-up. And there was some taunting going on. Orange Cassidy was doing Orange Cassidy things. He put the hands in the pockets. But Eventually, we got a collar and elbow tie-up because Cody shoved him so hard his glasses fell off, and then Orange Cassidy got pissed. So that was it. Cody hit a top rope springboard cutter and a disaster kick, then a superplex. He went to work on Cassidy's left leg, which was a partial story in the match. He wrenched it around the ring post. Cassidy came back with a swinging DDT off the top rope, and then he hit his beach break on the apron. They both made it back in by a 9 count. Cassidy hit a second beach break. They traded cradles. Cody used the crucifix. Very nice pinning combinations here. They were coming in fast. They were coming in quick. And then the time limit neared, and it was at a 2 count, and then the bell rang, and we got a 20-minute time limit draw. Cassidy used a mousetrap cradle. He had Cody pinned, but before the ref could count 3, the time limit expired. What do you think is going to happen here, Jesse? Do you think it's going to be a triple threat match, or Cody's going to get the decisive victory in the rematch and then go on to Darby? What do you think is going to happen going into Full Gear?
I'm not really sure. So the safe bet is to just say Cody's gonna retain because he just got the title back.
Yep.
So I mean, anything other than that is just ridiculous at this point. I still don't know why they took the title off of Brodie, to be honest. But again, that was just a me call. It wasn't like a bad decision. It was just me. I would have done differently. So I mean, but they put it back on Cody. They got a reason for it. My guess is they want him to hold it for someone else, and I don't think it's for him to give 2 or 3 weeks later. So,
well, what do you think of Darby Allin finally getting? And we've always talked about it. You and I both talked about it. I mentioned it by myself when I was on this show here, even on Off the Script on the weekends. I've always mentioned Darby Allin being kind of the one, especially when fans are back in the arena, the big baby face to get the victory over Cody and be the TNT champion. What do you think of him finally getting a shot at the TNT title?
I think he would be the quintessential babyface TNT champion. I know that's what Cody's supposedly doing right now, but right now I don't think Cody knows what the fuck he's doing. He was babyface, he teased heel, came back, looked healed, said he was not healed. It was so far he had to come out and tell us, I'm still babyface, pretty much. It was kind of weird. And he dyed his hair back.
Yep. Yeah, he did. I forgot to mention that until Jesse just mentioned that he had the black hair for a couple weeks, and now he's back to being blonde.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy is doing, dude. I think he's changing his own ideas and plans for himself. So they got the title off of Brodie. Why? Brodie was hottest thing on BTE. Dark Order is excelling. They got the title on him. They took it off of him. Why? Probably because they got plans to move him up. Okay, cool. So what's the plans for the title? Well, I'm going to hold it until I drop it to X. I think they got a name in mind for Cody to drop that title to right now, and it's not anybody he's coming up with anytime soon.
Well, you mentioned before about Brodie Lee. You mentioned that not only this week, but last week as well. You don't know why they took the title off of Brodie Lee. But Brodie Lee was actually on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, and he explained that he believes he wasn't actually supposed to win the title originally to begin with. And he says this, and I quote, I believe the original plan was for me not to become the TNT champion. I don't know much. I'm not privy into the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts of it all. Probably because I don't want to be, because if I have a thought in my head, I'll quickly become married to it, and then if something changes, I go insane. I try not to know too much. I just kind of live in the moment. I learned my lesson the hard way over many, many years, so I try to stay level-headed and not get too much information, receive things as they are presented to me. The match itself was presented to me like a week or two before it even happened, so I just wanted to train and look the part and do whatever is asked of me. I mean, lying on top of Cody, looking into the hard cam, imagining my son looking back on the other side, knowing I'm going to become the TNT champion and bringing that belt home to him, that's a very special memory. That Saturday night is one that I will never forget. It's something that worked out perfectly. We filmed the match before, and we filmed it. It felt good, great, but you never know how it's going to come across on television. And then when we watched it back at home with my two sons and me, I had tears in my eyes. It was just the culmination of so much bullshit and so much questioning myself and questioning my career and questioning my anxiety for 8 years, and watching it on TV was just an unbelievable experience. So he says, Jesse, he did not know the match was even a match until a week or two before it even happened.
That's awesome. I don't know if I buy that, but that's awesome. Only because I just say that because it's been abundantly clear that Tony and everybody else are hands-on with the talent when it comes to creative.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem like, hey, we're just gonna do this with Brodie. Let's go tell him. You know, it's usually more like, let's bring Brodie in and see what he thinks about this. You know, but I mean, what do I mean? I don't have no reason to think he's lying about it. So I mean, it's just normally to me it would seem like this is what we want to do. Let's see what Brodie thinks, as opposed to, wait, I'm winning. Yeah, you're winning. Goodbye. You know. That's,
well, I'm a big fan of his to begin with, but when he actually said that, you know, he was thinking of his two sons at home, and then he won the championship, and you know, he was watching it back with them, and it all hit him at the same time about all the bullshit that he went through, especially in the last year and a half of WWE, where they just felt like they didn't want him anymore. He felt like he was just not of value to Vince McMahon anymore, and the reasons why Vince didn't find anything appealing in Luke Harper. You know, having him say that, so much bullshit, and him going through these droughts of, you know, questioning himself and questioning his career. Do I even want to continue doing this? And then watching that back and realizing, you know what, I still love this fucking sport. I do it not only for myself, but I look at my two sons and I do it for them too. You know, that's an amazing fucking feeling, and that actually made me a bigger fan of his than I already was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was an awesome spot. I could see that spot being like probably the highlight of his career.
Yeah,
I mean I really could.
Definitely. Know. Speaking of WWE and ex-WWE employees, Matt Hardy, he was on AEW Dynamite tonight with his wife Rebby and the 3 kids, and Matt says he practically feels perfect in many, many ways. He says it's great to be celebrating 1 year of Dynamite. He also said tonight that he's 100% healthy and he's cleared for an in-ring return on AEW television. Then a video appeared on the big screen with images of Hardy in all of his various gimmicks, and they were all lined up on a clothesline, and they were burning. Somebody took a lighter and burned all the pictures of Matt Hardy. Somebody was shown from behind in a black hoodie, and no, it's not the SmackDown hacker. No, it's not Mustafa Ali. It actually ended up being Sammy Guevara, as he was burning all of these Matt Hardy pictures. He said it was him who attacked him and left him laying. He said he's the guy who, if he ever gets cleared, which Matt Hardy just said he got cleared, he's going to send him back to the hospital, Sammy Guevara said. He said it's not over until he sends him home for good. So Hardy looked at Shivani, who was interviewing him during this time, and asked Shivani if he knew about it. Tony said no. Hardy said, I guess, well, my first order of business coming back to the ring is Sammy, now that he's cleared. What do you think of this? And are you the only one that's thinking maybe we should not do this again? Do you think they've learned their lesson? Do you think Sammy and Matt Hardy and the feud that is going to be, or the feud that happened, is fucking cursed? What do you think of this?
I'm not liking it. I mean, but look, I don't know if it's directly Matt and Sammy. I don't like I mentioned to you the other day, I'm just done with the Hardys. I'm done with Matt. I'm done with Jeff. I'm just done with the Hardys, man. I appreciate everything they've done for this business and everything that they've done to keep me entertained. But watching them perform in the ring now is less about, wow, let's see what he's going to do. And it's more about, my God, I hope he doesn't kill himself. You know, I mean, it just feels like every big spot is going to be potential death. And that's not the kind of excitement I want. I mean, I want to see and be excited without being that legitimately concerned about someone's, health. And it just doesn't feel like the Hardys are in the business of doing a match and taking it lightly. So with that being said, I would love to see them in a management role, producer, backstage, trainer, consultant, creative, something in the business, but out of the ring, man, please.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Hardys. I love both. Jeff doesn't feel special at all on WWE TV. They moved him from SmackDown to Raw now in the draft. He doesn't feel special at all. Matt, I think after that scare at the last pay-per-view at All Out, I think that really just kind of took a lot of the wind out of our sails, per se, as far as Matt Hardy. We know the Hardys to always be daredevils and death-defying, but I never want to see anything like that ever again. And I think I'm kind of in a situation where I feel like if he steps into the ring, what's going to happen next? Is this going to happen again? It's like I'm going to be thinking about that spot every time he's in the ring, and I'm not really going to be appreciating Matt Hardy for what he does in the ring against a guy like Sammy Guevara. So I don't know where this is going to end up, but clearly this has got to be a Matt and Sammy Guevara call. Tony Khan has every given right to say yes or no to this. Maybe they want to finish it. They don't want to leave it just as a big question mark here. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it either, but knowing these two guys, I think they learned their lesson, and I think we get a proper conclusion to this feud.
Yeah, you gotta think about all of the not even possible, but the surefire, the concussions that the Hardys got over the years that went untreated because of what we did not know about concussions as we do now. And now here we are, they're still doing the same things, and it's like it's a little cringe. And again, here's my thing. It's not like if Matt says, "Oh, well, I think I want to start wrestling, but I'm concerned about my income." I don't think he has to wrestle to make money right now. I'm quite sure if he went to Tony and said, "Hey, I think my in-ring days are over," I'm quite sure Tony Khan will have his same salary, if not more, working behind the scenes with younger talent.
Yeah.
So this is clearly just him not wanting to give up the ring. And how many cases have we seen that of the wrestler who just can't let it go? They don't want to let the days go. They can't move on. They can't they feel like if they let it go, it's all over. I mean, this guy has the most beautiful family. We just saw them tonight. Lovely family, man. We're going to be seeing his kids in the ring soon, and we all know that. How long before we see King Maxwell in that ring?
I don't know. So soon.
I mean, it's coming. It's coming, man. I mean, look at me. I look at him. I see Dominic Mysterio right now. Yep. I mean, it's coming. So that being said, why is he doing it? Why are you in the ring, bro? It's not healthy. How many concussions?
You know what it is, dude. You know what it is, because he went to the WWE thinking that he went back there and they would have appreciated him and they would have given him the proper send off to a point where he didn't have to be doing what he's doing now. But they didn't do that. So WWE, in typical fashion, they bring in guys like this, guys with big name value, and Matt Hardy at the time had a big gimmick, and they dropped the ball with him. He knows that. He felt creatively unsatisfied there. He lost all of his passion, all of his energy to do this, and now he needs to continue doing it because he's had all those years in WWE where they didn't do anything with it, and he feels, listen, I can't end my career like that. I got to continue doing it now to make it right because they fucked it up. That's exactly why he's doing it.
Probably.
If WWE gave him a proper broken run, I don't think we would be seeing Matt Hardy continue doing the things that he's doing.
I disagree. I think he found another reason to be in the spot he's in now. Because he just doesn't want to give up the ring.
Yeah, well, we hear that all too often with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about the reason why he's doing it now. But if that bug wasn't there, it'd be something else he'd be clinging on to because he doesn't want to let it go. And the guy is a creative genius, man.
Yeah.
The guy's a creative. He could be a manager. He can be in creative. I texted you about this the other day. I want to see more wrestlers in creative. Stop hiring Hollywood writers and guys out of college and put people who've been in the ring in creative.
Yeah.
Simple. Let Daniel Bryan write the whole goddamn Monday Night Raw script as far as I'm concerned by himself. Let him turn it into Vince, and let Vince shred what Daniel Bryan writes, and let us find out about that.
I mean,
shit.
we're seeing it on SmackDown with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. I mean, there's nobody there that's writing any of that shit. It's all coming from Paul Heyman, and then it gets approved by Vince McMahon. You know, Vince McMahon's not going to go against anything Roman Reigns. So It's like, look at that. They're not your typical WWE fucking goon writers. They're people. They're people that actually live the fucking role on television. You're not having somebody write something for somebody like Roman Reigns and they don't feel or know the gimmick and know the direction. They know where they want to go. You give them that benefit of the doubt to lead you to where you need to be. As far as television goes, Daniel Bryan did it on SmackDown. The reason why we seen Gulak in a intercontinental role and Gran Metalik get a fucking IC title shot against AJ Styles a couple of months back was because Daniel Bryan pushed for those guys to be on TV. And then the fucking creme de la creme of it all, Becky Lynch pitched it and shilled it to WWE during WrestleMania for her to lose. She says, guys, I think I should lose this match and put over Shayna after what happened. What did WWE do? They didn't listen to Becky Lynch, and Shayna was buried.
Nope.
So, yes, I agree with that. I agree with what you said 100%.
Shayna should be the top female star in the company right now.
Mm-hmm.
Should be. Hands down. With Becky being out, and especially with Charlotte being out, and Sasha and Bayley having a inner dispute, there's no reason why Shayna should not be the single top female in WWE right now. And she's nowhere near it because of that WrestleMania match.
Yeah. So that's just, those are just a couple of examples of what Jesse elaborated on before. I do think a lot of the talent in WWE, and I know for a fact that AEW has some creative freedom for their talents to be, guiding their own storylines, but I do think that if that is the way it is in AEW, how much more beneficial it would be for WWE and the fans to have some of the talent actually kind of mold their own direction and gimmicks and storylines on television. We don't see that, and we're never going to see it because WWE is just so hands-on with everything, and they micromanage everything. It's like fucking prison over there. But
the AEW creative, written by wrestlers.
Yeah. And what happened? You see any issues with Meltzer reporting up? This guy got into a fight with that guy, and there's a big backstage issue here with this one. You haven't heard anything in 1 year. Nothing. Because everybody is family. Everybody knows the direction of where they got to go with the show.
That's another thing. Talent taking a script from a Hollywood writer and being told to make it work.
How many times have you told me, bro? How many times have you told me? How many times? And MJF even said it himself. And I know you mentioned it to me. We've discussed it several times. How many times have we said that if you give MJF a WWE script, we wouldn't be looking at the MJF we see now? Can you imagine handing MJF a fucking script?
Hell no, dude.
Jesus
Hell
Christ.
no. But they gotta take these scripts from these writers and then make it work. The thing is, the talent do not respect these writers.
Yeah.
They don't respect them because they have never done what they do. Mm-hmm. They don't respect them because they don't understand that they're gimmick. They don't understand what they're trying to portray. You take something from Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan pitches it to you. Who the fuck are you to say that it's not going to work? Daniel Bryan says it's going to work. You better go fucking try.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know if Daniel Bryan told me something. Mr. JD, I think we should go in this direction. All right, go ahead.
Let's go.
You're not going to hear any argument from me. Go ahead, go do it. I'll be the first one to fucking sit in front of the television and watch it.
Let's do it. And Daniel Bryan will take your input on a promo as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
Just the differences between AEW and WWE. Now, we got the tag team situation. Speaking of differences, Jesus Christ. Tag teams in AEW compared to WWE is like comparing a McDonald's hamburger to a fucking Bobby Flay hamburger. But we got tag team situation happening here on Dynamite. We got a big tumbler, the big gold tumbler back in the 90s. I know you guys, you old schoolers, you OGs, who used to watch WWF programming during the Royal Rumble where the big tumbler was backstage and we had all the wrestlers in the Royal Rumble pick their number out and they opened up that nice plastic ball and revealed the number. Oh, man, look at the number I got. And you never knew what it was until the day of the Royal Rumble, man. Remember that gold tumbler? We got it back on AEW Dynamite. I don't know why WWE doesn't do the gold tumbler for the Royal Rumble. I think that is a lost art when it comes to the Rumble. But we've seen the gold tumbler on Dynamite tonight. And all of the tag teams on Dynamite were in this gold tumbler. And we have a four-way match for the number one contendership to the tag team championships. And the winner of this four-way would go on to Full Gear and challenge FTR for the tag team titles. Now, Tony Schiavone drew four names out of the tumbler, and he drew Private Party first. We got the Dark Order, the Butcher and the Blade, and then the Young Bucks. So those are the four. And I got to ask Jesse, how much of that, I would be I would be very interested to know how they went about this, because we got the 3 teams announced before the Bucks. How much of this was just willy-nilly free, just not planned? We had no plans for any of these teams. Shivani actually went in there and legitimately picked out these names, and whatever the names were, they were actually placed in the match. I would love to know if that was legit or not. What do you think?
Nah, no way.
So this was all planned. He just picked out random papers, and he just announced the names that Tony Khan had planned before the show.
I would believe so. I mean, look, we don't know, but I would believe so. You got to have some kind of direction of what you want to do. Don't leave it to
it might have been 3 random teams, and the only one that was actually going to be planned to be in the match was the Young Bucks, because they got named last, and it's like, oh shit. I mean, you heard those 3 names, and then we got a pay-per-view coming up, FTR. Like, where's the Bucks being called here? Yeah. So we got the 4 teams being chosen. Bucks entered the ring. They got face-to-face with FTR. They shook hands. They exchanged some words back and forth. Nick Jackson says, listen, we're not here to super kick Tony Schiavone. He said they're there to super kick these guys, and they super kicked Blade and the Dark Order. Big brawl broke out as FTR left the ring. When everything cleared out, the Bucks shook hands with Private Party and then gave them super kicks and dropped both Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Clearly, this is going to end up being the Bucks versus FTR at the pay-per-view. So, it should be a good match, but we're getting the tag team match that a lot of people, including these 2 teams, have predicted will happen.
Yeah, they can't fight this off forever. They got to go ahead and get these guys going.
No, it's going to be a great match. Might be a match of the year candidate. We'll see at Full Gear. Shida versus Big Swole women's title match. This one went 9 minutes. Very sloppy. I am not sold on Big Swole at all. In fact, I don't think Shida looked good in this thing either with Big Swole, but Shida wins in 9 minutes. Swole landed a cutter on Shida on the ramp, and another cutter back in the ring. She went for a cover, got a 2 count. Shida gave Swole a German suplex. Swole's shoulders were up with the German suplex. Very sloppy. Ref counted 2 because he was supposed to, even though we all seen Big Swole's shoulders not on the mat. Shida took Swole down with a very sloppy running knee. And Swole landed a spinning forearm out of nowhere, went for a cover, got a 2 count. Shida did another running knee strike, and then a running boot for the win. Very sloppy, Jesse, very clunky. They need more talent in the women's division for Shida, because this ain't working.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't even sure if Shida was going to win this match, to be honest. I thought they were going to try to somehow get that title off of Shida onto Swole, so they can get it on the Britt Baker. I swear I thought they were going to do that. And
you would have loved that, right?
It's about to turn the TV off,
You would have loved that as much as I would have loved Eva Marie showing up on Monday Night Raw.
Man, I don't know. I'm telling you, man. Eva has... Look, don't get me started.
Who?
Man. Don't get me started, man.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Big Swole has not... She did not come out of this Britt Baker feud looking well at all.
I don't think Britt Baker came out of the Britt Baker feud looking well.
She went into it not looking well. So, but I don't think that Britt Baker feud did her any justice whatsoever. It just put her in a different women's division. It just put her in the Divas division. She wasn't even in good competition for Shida, man.
Who does Shida wrestle at the pay-per-view? It's got to be Nyla Rose, right?
I'm hoping Ivelisse.
We'll see. I don't know who takes that title off Shida, but I know it ain't anybody. Maybe Nyla Rose, maybe, but it ain't anybody else on that active roster right now.
They just took it off of Nyla Rose to put it on Shida. Like I said, that was a dumb move.
Just bring in Thunder Rosa and have Thunder Rosa win the championship. Problem solved.
It's going to Ivelisse, man. The second I saw Ivelisse was signed full-time, I said, there is the next women's champion. And she's going to hold on to that title for a long-ass time.
Listen, man, listen, I'm telling you right now, and, I love Thunder Rosa. I think she would, and I said this, you said this, she's the foundation for what AEW should be leaning towards as far as quality for women's wrestling on their show. But this is obviously leading to Shida versus Britt Baker, with Britt Baker taking the title of Shida, and then we're going to have a fucking parade on the podcast when it happens.
Britt Baker wins that title, I will not be on this podcast that night. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, man. Britt Baker's going to win the fucking title, man. Watch.
I will not be on this show.
Moving on before we start celebrating early for Miss Baker winning the AEW Women's Championship. We got a video package airing on Scorpio Sky and Sean Spears. Apparently they got something going on. Spears denied that he was stalking him. Apparently Spears is stalking Scorpio Sky. He said everyone likes him, but Sky stole a memory he planned to collect for himself, so they're going to get it back and they're going to create their own moment by going after Scorpio Sky. What exactly is this moment, Jesse, and is this something dark related?
No, not a dark thing. I have no idea what this is.
No idea either. Sean Spears is too good to be just hanging in the shadows. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, so hopefully he gets back to television soon. And then we got Eddie Kingston joining the announcers on commentary. Lucha Brothers are standing behind him as his muscle. We got Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. This was a no DQ match because these two were beating the shit out of each other earlier in the show, and Tony Khan made this a no disqualifications match in the main event of the show. And this was very good. I love the way these two guys work together. This was for the AEW title, like I mentioned. They didn't really have time to build up a huge deal for this match, making it a no DQ match, but what they did earlier in the evening was enough. Archer charged through the entrance. Somebody was in his way. I don't know who the fuck this was. It might have been a stagehand or something. He got absolutely blasted through the tunnel. Moxley hit right to the ring. He headed right to the ring. He hit a paradigm shift on Lance Archer right away for a quick 2 count. So that injected a whole ton of energy into this match right away. Archer took control of the match. He hit a choke slam through 2 chairs. Moxley made a comeback. He used a knee bar and an ankle lock. Moxley hit a paradigm shift off the apron through 2 tables at one point in this thing. Moxley hit another paradigm shift in the ring. Archer kicked out. So Lance Archer had 3 paradigm shifts on him, Jesse, in this match, and he kicked out of every single one of them. So, or at least survived every single one of them. The one through the table, he survived as well, which gave him a little cut above his nose. But what did you mention to me via text with all the finishers? You don't like all the finishers and then all the false finishes with the finishers, correct?
Again, the same old, it just devalues the finisher. What's the finisher? Why are we doing the finisher if it's not finished? You can't do a bunch of finishers to put over a match. You can't just add a backstage beatdown to add heat to a match. The match has no heat to it. And kicking out a finisher is not going to give it any heat.
Yeah, it's a situation where, to me, watching something like that, I get where you're coming from. I don't like the finishers being demoralized like that, or diminished like that, I should say. But I think they kind of knew that Lance Archer wasn't going to win this match. In fact, I actually had maybe a small percentage of Archer winning this match and then pulling off the upset. But I was always leaning towards Moxley retaining. I think the majority of everybody knew that Lance Archer wasn't going to win. So to make him look like a murder hawk, quote unquote, in AEW, they had him kick out of the world champion's finishing move 3 times. And he's the only guy that could possibly do that. So I didn't mind it, but I get where you're coming from, no doubt. But
it's a slippery slope. I just don't want it to be something they consistently do. Again, they keep doing it. Like, please, let's stop this here. Don't keep the finisher kick out thing going, please.
Yeah. So the table spot was not the only big spot here. There was a ton of chairs. We got Moxley, like I said, applying the ankle lock. Jake Roberts pulled Archer to the floor. Archer grabbed a trash can underneath the ring, and he threw it at Moxley as Moxley tried to dive at him through the ropes. There was a bunch of brawling on the outside against the barricade, a low blow, a DDT, and then the table spot with the DDT, the paradigm shift through the table. Crowd there at Daly's Place chanted, "This is awesome." Mox gave Archer a paradigm shift, and it looked more like a double underhook suplex for a 2 count than anything, followed by a bulldog choke. Archer stood and shoved Moxley off of him. Moxley rolled him up for a 2 count. Archer then gave Moxley, out of nowhere, the blackout for a near fall. He went for a pin, but Moxley leveraged Archer into a crucifix out of the blackout and got the 1, 2, 3 on Lance Archer. and Lance Archer loses this world title match. Archer attacked Moxley. Kingston sent the Lucha Brothers to the ring. Phoenix had a chair. He hit Archer in the back with the chair. Archer was more irritated than anything at this. It was like a pesky gnat at the fucking dinner table, and you're trying to swat it away. Lance Archer just looked at Rey Fenix like, you fucking serious? I could squash you right here like a fucking bug. And then all of a sudden, Kingston talked to his guys into not hitting Moxley with the chair because they wanted to. Archer left. He went through the tunnel, up the stage, and then Kingston asked for applause from everybody in Daly's Place for Jon Moxley. Kingston talked about good times that they had years ago. He said he loves him to death. He said they had a great match, but he had to throw that little jab at him. Yeah, we had a great match, but I never submitted, never tapped out to you. But we had a great match, and he loves him to death. He helped Moxley to his feet. Kingston says he's proud of him. He put his arm around Moxley, kept saying how proud he was of Jon Moxley. And Moxley at this point, Jesse, he looked suspicious, but he gave in anyway, which I'll get to in a second because you thought Moxley looked like a fool here. And then all of a sudden, Kingston hit him with a back fist and then applied a sleeper hold. Lucha Brothers kept the officials out of the ring. Moxley was put to sleep by Kingston. Kingston then held up the AEW title, and we went to a quick ending of Dynamite. A, it looks like we're continuing this feud from a couple weeks back, and B, we got our World Championship match for the pay-per-view. What did you think of this ending? What do you think of this championship match? And what do you think of Eddie Kingston going into the pay-per-view as the number one contender?
It all feels like filler for Moxley right now, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like filler. None of these guys are going to...
And I don't mean that, we don't mean that in any disrespect towards Eddie Kingston, because he's fucking great at what he does.
Eddie Kingston is... Man, he's up there. I look, I'm on the spot on this one, but I would quickly put Eddie Kingston probably in the top three promos in wrestling today, anywhere on the planet. He's that good. The guy is good, man. But it just feels like he's thrusted in here to fill some space and some time right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't a proper build up to it. Nobody expects Archer to beat Moxley, and Kingston's not in the right spot to beat him right now. And I'm not saying that a guy like Kingston can't beat Moxley for the title. It's not his time. It's not the right spot. It's too soon. We know he's just filling in because they need to get Moxley to someone else. So just give us some good matches in the meantime, I guess. And Moxley and Archer wasn't all of that for me.
It was fine for what it was. I mean, I like their styles. I like their clash of styles. I thought Cody and Orange Cassidy had the match of the night. But as far as Kingston and Moxley go, clearly with Kingston stressing the fact that he didn't quit, he didn't tap out, this clearly is not going to be a regular one-on-one match of Full Gear. I could see this being a submission match or an I Quit match, maybe. Last man standing match, something along those lines there for the pay-per-view. What do you think about that? Probably.
They're going to build to a stipulation. It has to be because they just came off of a regular match. So what's it going to be? Not sure. Will the match be good? But those two, absolutely.
Hey, maybe they do a throwback to what they did at Full Gear last year with Omega and Moxley and have an unsanctioned match. Maybe we get an unsanctioned match between these two.
Could be. It could be. Well, if it's going to be for a title, though, I don't know. It could be. They could throw any kind of stuff. Have they had a cage match yet in AEW?
Yeah, Cody and Wardlow.
That's right. Never mind. But yeah, they could throw all kinds of stipulations in there, and these guys will knock out of the park. I mean, Moxley and Kingston, man, they probably actually love and enjoy taking beatings.
Yeah, so Kingston, he has to.
God, dude, these guys are fun. They'll literally beat the crap out of each other, dude.
Yeah.
So the match will be awesome. It's just a matter of, is Kingston gonna win? No. Is he gonna entertain us? Absolutely, he will. And that's all I want to see. I mean, let's see where this goes. We've seen it twice now, so it has to be better. No doubt about it. It has to be a better match, and it will be. But again, it's filler. Where are we going?
We will see, man. Full Gear's coming up. It'll be here before you know it. Dynamite was really good tonight. I enjoyed what they did for the 1-year anniversary. And I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks as far as pay-per-view build goes, because AEW is always on top of their game. Guys, that is the review. Jesse and I are done covering the AEW news for the week and the review of the show tonight. And if you came for the review and you want to head on out, you guys can certainly do that. I will see you right back here live for Friday Night SmackDown, the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, whatever the fuck that means. But if you guys want to hang out, we'll be looking at some super chats here in just a second. You guys can get the super chats on in. We will be reading them towards the end of the show, hanging on out. If you guys want to hit that thumbs up on your way out, I would definitely appreciate that. We are almost at 700. You guys are great. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure you check out all the other videos that you might have missed down in the description. And please check out my sponsor for tonight's show, Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free book, your free audio book, and 30 days of their service absolutely free. Popo Jr., $5 super chat. JD, I love you, bro. But can we have you tweeting during my Dodgers-Braves, bro, like the last 3 innings last night? No, Popo. Love you, bro, but I'm not tweeting about baseball because I stopped watching in the first inning. And he says, Jesse, what's up, bro?
What's going on?
JP5150, $5 super chat. Overall, Dynamite was okay, but 3 things upset me tonight. The ending of the FTR Best Friends match, the women's match, and Britt Baker returning to wrestle. He says, why?
I love this guy.
JP, you could be best friends with Jesse.
This guy is smart.
JP and Popo, thank you for the $5 super chats. Jacob Donnelly with a $10 super chat. As a whole, I thought the matches for the most part were very good, but as an anniversary show, I thought it lacked something. Maybe a debut or return, or maybe the crowd. I thought it came off very well. It flowed nicely. Segments, it didn't overstay its welcome. They timed out everything nicely. I thought it was good, you know?
Yeah, show was good. I like the show.
And he says also, I hope Jericho introduces MJF to Titus for that steak dinner. I'm sure he would love it. Of course he would. Titus makes one mean steak, is what I hear. Mr. Cake with a $5 super chat. Hi, JD and Jesse. Do you think AEW during the tournament next week is a good idea? Because in my opinion, it seems rushed with Full Gear happening on November 7th. I don't think it's rushed. I mean, the entire show is going to be built around a tournament, so... I mean, what's the problem there?
Yeah.
All those matches are going to be given ample time. They're going to be given time to breathe. They're going to be given an important feel. And it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Mike W. with a $5 super chat. AJD was epic when you came into Sean's live chat today and busted his bottle. I laughed my butt off. Big fan of you, my guy. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I did not go into anybody's live stream today. I literally sat in this chair and did nothing all day and got myself ready for the weekend. And then I went to the beer hall up the street and I watched the first inning of the Brave game while I had chicken nuggets and french fries with 2 craft beers in front of me. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. That was not me. And if you're talking about Sean's view, why would I go to somebody else's stream and start shit for no reason? So whoever that was a fucking troll. Clearly... there's one way for you guys to know it's me legitimately in somebody's stream. When I tweet, when I comment in a live stream or I comment on YouTube, I have a check mark next to my name, meaning that I'm a verified account and I'm a YouTube partner. So if you guys don't see a check mark next to my name, it wasn't me. So if he's too stupid to fucking realize that he wants to pick a fight with me, well, then that's on him. So... there you go. I just debunked
JD is a blue check mark.
Yeah. I'm a check mark on YouTube, but not on Twitter. So I just debunked all the bullshit. There you go. Jericho8131 with a $5 super chat. Anna Jay has wrestled most of her matches on Dark and has improved compared to 7 months ago. Outside Shida, Dark should be the women's platform. What do you think about that one?
Anna Jay?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen her really wrestle. I mean, she got the gimmick. She got the, she's a tough badass, as she's portrayed, but I haven't seen her go yet, so I can't comment on her in ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's all right. I mean, I got to see more of her. I haven't seen much of her, but I know she's capable of handling herself in the ring, but I got to see more.
Yeah, me too.
Kenley Pierre, $2 super chat. Hey, JD, favorite black male wrestler and female right now, currently, Bianca Belair, and I would say Male wrestler. That's a tough one.
Keith Lee.
I don't know.
I say Keith Lee. The best being pushed right now.
Yeah, I would say Keith Lee. Yeah, Bianca and Keith Lee. Yeah.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson with a $5 super chat. Looked like Knox ducked down because he thought Chuck Taylor was going to inadvertently slingshot Harwood back into him, but the spot came off clunky. Possibly.
Do a sidestep.
Yeah. He went down like a fucking grenade was going off.
Oh, shit. Oh, here they come off the ropes. I'll step to the side. This motherfucker, he hit the ground, man. Like somebody started firing shots in the Daily Center or something. The fuck?
Mr. Cake with a $7 super chat. I'd like to see Ricky Starks win the TNT title. Wrestling has always been like that. They love being on the road, and once it stops, they get depressed. Meaning the Matt Hardy situation we talked about earlier.
And that is a real thing. There's a lot of wrestlers with PTSD and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I get that, but staying in the ring longer is only gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
So.
And then we got Gavin Deeth with a Australian $5. Tony should have used Lawnmower 3 from Manscaped. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. Tony who? Tony Khan? Tony Khan should be using Manscaped. Let me tell you something, man. Manscaped worked for a couple of weeks, and then it didn't work anymore. Not really a good product.
Harry's.
There you go. There's my thoughts on fucking Manscaped. All right, man. We're about to get out of here. Any parting words before we hit the road here?
No, not so much. Are we watching NXT this week? I heard it was a real shit show, man.
Really? I'm not watching it tonight. I would like to get some sleep. I'll probably be up and I'll probably be on Rogue Company. They got that new Dr. Disrespect arena map. I want to check that out.
Oh, man, COD Mobile dropped a new update too today, man.
Yeah, and the beta, the beta is back. Call of Duty Cold War, man. I might be on Twitch tomorrow night. You guys know where to find me.
COD making a comeback, man. Look at this.
There you go. All right, man. Check out the... What? What do you got to tell me? What do you got to tell me?
I'm trying to think. Oh, again, this will probably be, I don't know, I might watch it tomorrow or something. I don't know when I play COD tonight, but this might be another week when I'm watching NXT, or not watching NXT and I'm watching Dark.
Yeah, I might watch NXT tomorrow as well. Apparently there was a big number one contenders match between Shotzi and Candice, and Toni Storm was back, and my boy Dexter Lumis is challenging Damian Priest for the North American title, so I might want to check that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they rushed him back because of all of the injuries, but he came back before Holland got hurt. So
yep.
Same night.
Yeah, I might check that out tomorrow. But yeah, guys, no live NXT. Anything NXT related, I'll save for the podcast on Saturday. If you missed any of the videos that I've uploaded this week, check the description down below. Everything you need is there. Go and check out that Monday Night Raw review. Definitely worth your time. We got Twitter at JDfromNY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. Mouthmasker.com/OTS for your masks. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free 30 days of their service and one free audio book. And Bonfire. Go and get your t-shirts. Quintendo with a $2 super chat. Towards the end of this thing, you guys are the best. Thank you, JD and Jesse. No, thank you, Quintendo, man. Jesse and I are getting in the Mustang. We're rolling the windows down, guys. You know the deal. When the guitar solo comes up, I want to see all those guitar emojis in the chat. We're going to speed off, and we'll be right back here next week for another episode of AEW Dynamite on the post show. Thank you guys so very much, and we will see you right back here next Wednesday for Dynamite.